going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video, and today I'm talking fantasy Premier League value players. These are players that I think are going to perform above their price bracket, either in comparison to other players from other teams or their own team. I'm not going to take too long to get into this one, just to say that there's going to be lots of FPL content over the summer. So if you enjoy the video, give it a like. It'd be great to get to like 750 likes for this one. And subscribe if you're new around here. Hit the bell so that you're notified. There'll be live streams and videos coming up all through the summer, and then as soon as the season starts. So let's get on to it. There's 6 players to go through. Let's see who might be valued this season. So we'll start off with Benjamin Mendy, £6 million defender for Man City. Really good price to come in at. And for anyone that played FPL last season, you'll know he was a bit of a legend. I think he kicked off in game week 1 against Arsenal and got 15 points and was pretty much deemed essential along with Robertson and Alonso for a time. But did get injured, unfortunately. So he only played 900 minutes last year. So 59 points is a pretty decent return in that. 4 clean sheets and 6 assists. So 900 minutes is almost bang on the minutes worth of 10 games. So that's 1 return every single game. And if you watch him play, yes, it was a left back, mostly in a back 4, but he attacked just like a left wing back would, or even a winger. I remember watching one game, can't remember who it was against, but I paused it on a counter attack for Man City, and I think he was the furthest player forward. And that's for a left back. So we all know what he can do in an attacking sense, and obviously Man City are going to smash it again for clean sheets, you would imagine. I don't see why they would keep any fewer than they did last year. They should be round about the same. And when it comes to fixtures, they've got a really good start. So West Ham away, Spurs at home, a little bit tough, but you'd expect that to be tight, and Man City could keep a clean sheet there. And then Bournemouth and Brighton after that. So opening fixtures are good for Man City, you'd expect clean sheets. Issue comes down to injury concerns over him and whether he'll actually be the first choice left back. My feeling is he probably will be, given how well he did last year, but he did fall out with Pep a little bit, or at least he was in Pep's bad books, basically, for stuff going on off the field. And to be fair, someone did tweet me yesterday and say there's more chance that he's on Instagram than he's on the pitch. So we'll have to wait and see what pre-season shows us. Obviously, you've got Zinchenko there as well. So I think either of those two, whoever gets in at the left back spot for Man City, Zinchenko's 5.5 million, is going to be an absolute bargain. Obviously, the hope is pre-season will tell us which one it is, and we can go for that one. But if you look at his price compared to other defenders, I think Luca Dean is probably one of the other good 6 million defenders, and you've got a few Chelsea defenders as well. But outside of that, obviously, he beats people like Doherty, Ricardo. He's cheaper than Laporte at the same club. And he's cheaper than Van Dijk and Robertson as well. So on his day, I think he can match any of them. The main issue is, can he stay injury free, and will he be the first choice left back? If he is, he looks brilliant. Next up, Diogo Jota, £6.5 million forward for Wolves. For anyone that played FPL last year, you'll know that he started off as a midfielder in terms of classification, but because he switched to playing up front with Jimenez for the best part of last season, he's now been switched in FPL, which is a fair enough move. 139 points total, which is pretty good. 9 goals and 8 assists. I think that's a decent return for a newly promoted side, but obviously Wolves did do really well, and we saw Jimenez score about 181, so he did do better. The key thing with Jota is there was a lot of hype at the start. I don't usually start with promoted players. I prefer to see how they're going to do and then bring him into my team, but he was in my Game Week 1 team, and the hype, he did not live up to it at all. But when they switched to the 2 up front, or with him playing in the 2 up front, he was much, much better. And there's actually a thread from a guy called Adam Hopcroft, I think it's Hopcroft13 on Twitter, which has shown when he moved to centre forward, he was involved in more goals than Jimenez. So the question is, can he kick that on into next season? I think there's every chance if they carry on with that formation. So again, pre-season will tell us what kind of formation they're probably looking at. And given that he's $1 million less than Jimenez, Jimenez is currently, at the time of recording this, owned by 46%. Of all FPL managers, whereas Jota's only around 12%. So for more in goal involvement and £1 million less, I think he's an absolute bargain compared to Jimenez. Now, will it play out like that? We'll have to wait and see. But right now, from Game Week 1, he'd be the one I'd go for, I think, over the Mexican. The only problem is with their opening fixtures is Leicester away, which could be a tough one. Man United at home, let's see how Man United turn up this season, but I don't think that's going to be an easy fixture. Not a lot of goals in that. Burnley at home, decent enough, and then Everton away could be tough as well. So maybe not one for Game Week 1, but definitely one to keep an eye on. I do think there's potential for players that are going to start with Jimenez and paying that $1 million more. It's just not going to be worth it. So we'll have to see how the ownership goes as we get closer to Game Week 1. But Jota does look like a bit of a bargain in comparison to the other forward at Wolves. I know this one's a bit obvious, but Van Dijk looks incredible value at 6.5 million. Obviously, we know how well he did last year. 20 clean sheets, 208 points, including 8 returns in terms of goals and assists. So 4 goals, 4 assists as well. So really good season last year. £6.5 million defender. Now, the reason he's on this list is because he's cheaper than Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andrew Robertson as well. So you can get him cheaper than his counterparts at Liverpool. Absolutely nailed on. Will play every single game when he's fit. And also, if you look at the other 6.5 million players like Alonso, and then other players, Laporte as well, and then other players that come in at 6, like Luca Dean, Mendy, who we just spoke about as well. He just looks like a really, really good price compared to them, and almost like a no-brainer for me. Now, whether you should get him in instead of Robertson or Trent, you could probably do a whole nother video on that. But for 6.5 million to get into that Liverpool defence, a bit like Man City, I just don't see why they would drop too many clean sheets. Even if they dropped a couple, you're still looking at 18, maybe 19 clean sheets for the whole season. He's always got goal threat and bonus potential as well. And the reason I like him is, like I said, there's pretty much no competition for him. It's him plus a centre-back. It's not much rotation that you're going to see. And obviously Liverpool's opening fixtures, Norwich at home, Southampton away and Burnley away to start. So 3 really good fixtures in the first 4. And arguably, you'll probably bet on a clean sheet against Arsenal as well. So for 6.5 million, I just think when you compare him to other defenders, because we've seen that price increase that FPL have done for kind of all defenders, there's a lot of them that are just nowhere near as good as him, that are near his price. So for me, I think it's probably worth saving 0.5 million if you're going to double up on the Liverpool defence and going without one of Robertson or Trent. If they can keep their assists up, then yes, they might beat him again. And he did have the worst points per match out of him, Robertson and Trent. But there's just no worries over him starting or not. And like I said, the goal threat's there. So absolute bargain for me at 6.5 million. Get him in your teams. So Chelsea are an interesting one for next season. Not a single player over £7 million in FPL, which is unheard of. It never really happens for a team in the top 6. Obviously, they've lost Hazard, who was their big hitter. He's gone to Real Madrid. And they do have a transfer ban. So they can't bring any players in at the moment. It doesn't look like that's going to change at all. So they're stuck with the strikers they've got. In FPL right now, at the time of recording this, Giroud's the only one that's priced. They've got Tammy Abraham and Batshuayi as well to price. I'd imagine they'll come in at between 6 and 7, probably 7, the same as Giroud. Obviously, we don't know 100% which one's going to be first choice. Batshuayi's kind of been at Chelsea before and not really been given a chance, always been like kind of super sub. Tammy Abraham obviously got not much of a look in either, but there's no Higuain, no Morata anymore. So Giroud could be the one with the experience to lead the line. We'll have to wait and see. Apart from the last couple of seasons, he's always done all right in terms of goal scoring. So 12, 16, 14, 16 goals are his previous 4 seasons. But even at Arsenal, he wasn't guaranteed to play each week. So maybe there's something there. Maybe he just doesn't have the fitness or whatever it might be to play regularly. But he's a player that when he does play, he gets chances and he does take them. Last year, he got 2 goals in the minutes that he did play, but his expected goals was 3.78. So you can consider himself a little bit unlucky not to get more, and also got 4 assists as well. So he did all right, 55 points last season. For the minutes he got, wasn't too bad. But if he does get a run in the side next year, then for 7 million, it could be a bargain. Yes, Chelsea don't have Hazard anymore, but they've still got some quality there. And I think there's definitely potential with William, Pedro, Hudson-Odoi, whoever it might be, to provide chances for him. So if he can become the number 1 striker for 7 million, I'd absolutely take a punt on him. Man United away, not great to start the season, but then Leicester, Norwich and Sheffield United. If he's the number 1 striker, I think he's definitely worth a punt. When you look at the players in that price range, 6.5 to 7 million, like Arnautovic, Josh King, there's good options. I don't know if there's a massive standout. So for me, like I say, if he's number 1 striker, definitely worth a shot. So Bernardo Silva's the second Man City player on this list, and he's coming in at an £8 million midfielder. And the time we're recording this, he's actually the most owned Man City player in FPL. Now, obviously, that might change as we get closer to game week 1, but I think people are basically looking at teams like Man City or Liverpool and obviously expecting loads of goals, expecting loads of clean sheets. So trying to fit in as many players as they can into their squad. And obviously, for 8 million, that's a lot easier than De Bruyne at 9.5. Or even Sterling at 12 million. So I think there's a lot of love for that price bracket. He got 154 points. So to compare that to someone like Sigurdsson, who's also priced at 8 million, he got 181 or 182 last year. So not too far away, but obviously you'd want the more points. I think the thing with Bernardo Silva is I expect him or could see him scoring more than that. With Sigurdsson, I'm not sure he's going to push the 200 range, whereas I think Bernardo Silva could definitely catch up with him, especially over a certain period of time. You don't necessarily have to own these players all season. And they've got really good opening fixtures, like I said, for Mendy. So West Ham, Spurs, Bournemouth and Brighton to open up. So 3 really good fixtures there. 7 goals, 8 assists last year. 71 chances created over the whole season. So can he improve on that? I think he can. I think the one thing I like about him is he's almost an absolute pet player, and integral to that side almost, because he can play in multiple positions. He can play deeper in midfield, or he can play on the wing as well. He likes to tackle, he gets back, he works for the team. He's everything that Pep wants. He's 24, so he can definitely improve as he gets older. And with De Bruyne back, we might see De Bruyne sit a bit further deeper. And like I say, Bernardo Silva can play on one of the wings. Maybe Mahrez steps out for a game or two. And even if he comes in, or Sané comes in, Bernardo Silva might just be pushed back. So I'd expect him to start most games. Obviously not every game. We can never have that with any Man City player. But the majority of them for sure. I think he clocked up like 2,800 minutes last year. So he played a good amount of matches. So for 8 million, I can definitely see why people are getting in on the action. It might be worth going for it at the start. And then if it doesn't quite work out, we can change him in wildcards or just substitute him out. But to get a Man City midfielder for that price who could play on the wing, absolute bargain, I think. So a lot of people going for him, and I can see why. So I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below. Let me know who your value players are. There are some that I haven't mentioned. Rob Holding at Arsenal, 4.5 million. If he can nail down a place and get back to being injury-free, then he could be really good. But if you've got any value players, let me know in the comments below. And let me know if you agree or disagree with the ones that I've spoken about as well. It'd be great to hear your thoughts. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. It'd be great to get as many likes as possible on this video. Subscribe if you're new around here. Lots of content to come. Otherwise, I'll leave it there and I'll see you in the next video. If you did enjoy this video or you want to support the channel even further, then I do have a Patreon page set up, which you can find in the link in the description below. There's a few different tiers, which I won't go into too much here, but one of them gets you Slack access, so that's with all the other Patreons. We just chat about FPL in general, chit chat, so that's open right now, being talked about over the summer, building teams and things like that. There's actually no charge for Patreon until August 1st. That's when the mini leagues start up in August. So if you just want to join up now and get invited to Slack and see how it is, and obviously if you don't like it, you can cancel. If not, you can just carry on. And the mini leagues reset every month, so even if you're having a bad season, there'll be a new mini league code every single month to try and get some winnings. So if you want to check that out, link in the description below, or send me a message, and hopefully I'll see you over there soon.